Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Danko Jones. How are you doing, brother?
Doing good. Doing all right.
Awesome, man. Great to catch up with you. Congratulations on the new album, Power Trio, out now. So many things to unpack. But first and foremost, it's been just such a crazy time in the world. I just want to make sure you, the band, your friends, your families, your conspirators are all okay because it's just been so insane.
We're doing as good as I think we can be in this kind of crazy mess. As the world starts opening up, I think rock bands are going to be the last that will be able to do what they do. So that's unfortunate, but we're still here. So
25 years and counting. And I think of you and your band as such a great live band and so integral to what you do. I can't imagine, how tough it's been for just them to be off the road. It's been, I'm sure, great to help make music. No shortage of topics, but just so
yeah.
hard to not do what you love.
I was saying this in an interview earlier today, like before the pandemic, I really wanted a break. We've been going steady for 20 years on the road and really needed a break. But this is not what I wanted. This is not really what I meant. Um, so, the idea of going back to shows is definitely something that has, it feels like when we started the band and all I wanted to do was tour. So we got that feeling again back. But yeah, again, like I said, we're rock bands are going to be the last in line for going back to normal. We see shows these days because it's summer and outdoor festivals, but even then it's a little kind of, yeah. Indoor shows, however, are going to need a little more more guidelines for that. So hopefully that doesn't cripple, bands in the industry and stuff. So I'm bracing myself. That's why I'm so adamant on social media. It's my only small little window I have where, you could just say, like a drop in the bucket, say something like, get vaccinated and stuff and wear masks and, just keep everyone safe, so.
Right on. I love it. Actually, you've been great on social media from, it seems like, day one. You've been very plugged into your fans and just very who you are as you always are. And it just carries over the whole message of the brand and the band. It's been a tremendous, I think a tremendous, boon to you.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been actually, yeah. Within the first week that everybody was in lockdown, because I was put myself and family and friends in lockdown, not friends, but family in lockdown like a week or two before official lockdowns happened. I remember my mom was like, I'm going to the mall. I'm like, no, you're not. You're not going to the mall. You're not going out today. You're not going out. I just didn't let her go out. So that kind of stuff happened a week or two before everybody officially locked down. I can't even remember what the question was now, but
No, it's all good. It's
yeah.
all good. It's been a minute, man. It's been tough. And I think people don't appreciate that Eastern Canada has been hit particularly hard and been very strict and been very, it's just been a grind, as much as anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky being in North America. Other countries, are trying to find vaccines, and here we are. We're an overabundance of vaccines, and a lot of people don't want to take it. And meanwhile, there's people in other poorer countries who are, literally dying to get the vaccine. So it's just this whole pandemic has really shown what we already kind of knew, but the black light on humans in general. Just we're tribal and we're terrible to each other. And what I've always wanted, if I thought maybe this could be a chance to serve up some more empathy between ourselves, but no, that's not happening. And so that really sucks, because when the lockdown happened in the beginning, I don't know if you remember, but when it happened, people were saying how great it was for the environment, like everything was shut down. And I was thinking, wow, if this might be kind of like a somewhat of a sign that we should kind of clean up our act and be nicer to each other, and be more environmentally friendly, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just it's gone to shit.
Yeah, it's been like Lord of the Flies a little bit, but
Yeah, Lord of the Flies. Yeah,
and we're
that's
all we're
good.
all piggy, unfortunately, every one of
Good
us. But
analogy. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, like on the other hand, I know people have had time on the. There's no plus side to the loss of human life and the struggles, but I know some artists I talked to felt like the time down helped them creatively, helped them with their family. Get, like I said, you guys have been absolute road dogs your whole career. I'm sure like hundreds of shows a year, so maybe the break was good for you physically and mentally to a point, and then you got
Mentally,
some.
no, not mentally, but
Yeah,
I guess physically, in a way, it was some sort of recuperation. But yeah, it wasn't. But mentally, it was not good. But whatever, we're
right.
not. Yeah, there's people who have it worse than us.
Absolutely. Hopefully we're getting on the. I know it's slow going and there's other things popping up, but hopefully we're on the other side of this thing, the worst of it. I hope,
Hopefully,
and
me too.
hopefully, I got a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel recently, so I'm feeling like maybe we're coming through. But
Oh, I
in
hope
the
so. Yeah.
in hope so. In the meantime, man, Power Trio. Another banging record, another couple of years, another banging record for Danko Jones. And
Thanks.
I felt like after the last one, I was like, man, they're gonna be hard to be top this one. And then you just continue to just grow and just continue to rock and find new ways to express yourself. It's really great to see a veteran band just continue to be hungry, because you don't see that so much anymore.
Yeah, well, thanks. I mean, I thought Rock Supreme was our best album too. I mean, I was saying it in interviews. Working with Garth Richardson was an incredible experience. We had so much fun. And then, pandemic happened and we had to write the follow-up to that in isolation in a way we've never done before, sending files to each other. That's never done that before. I've done that for, like, if I have to sing a song for another band or something, I could do that, but not in this situation. So yeah, it definitely helped in terms of living with the songs longer, because there's nothing to do. There's no tour happening next week or next month, and the studios the studio is booked for in September, October, and this was July, August when we were writing. So we had ample time to, like, just stay home and live with the songs and listen to the songs, and more so than past albums. So even though we were apart from one another on this one, which we've never done before, this album, because there was nothing on the books, we had all the time to live with the songs and overanalyze sometimes some of the parts, and like go through every lyric, more times than just like, okay, I wrote it, let me just proofread this and let's go. Whereas, this time I was like, does that make sense? Like, logically, does that even make sense? Forget about the rhyme scheme, but does that even make sense? Is it in the right, is it written in the right person, or et cetera, et cetera. And then guitar solos. I really like a lot of the guitar solos that I've done on this album, more so than past ones. I think of Ship of Lies, the guitar solo, very simple solo, no theatrics, and no gymnastics, but it worked perfectly with the melody and the rhythm of the foundation of the song. And so that could have only happened if I had just, like, lived with it. And I came up with another solo here, and then I would trash it. And, so that is a positive from being home due to the pandemic. That's one of the few positives that I can say, that it allowed us, like, the luxury of time, endless time, like, there's people who've sold 50 million albums and then they can retire, and then they have like 10 years to work on their follow-up, and that's the time they have. This is our version of that, except it was forced. And we didn't take 10 years. We took the exact same amount of time we usually do. It's just that there was no touring. So usually in the past when we've done albums, because we're still on the 2.5 year every year put out an album cycle. But in the past, there's always a tour looming, or we got to do this, or we got to do that, and next week, and okay, let's try and see if we can get some jams in and rehearsals and writing sessions in between. And that never happened. It was just all nothing, and all we're doing is writing every day. I'm just waking up and writing. So that was, in a way, that helped.
That was cool, man. I don't I didn't ever know if you were like a one or two take guy, or how much, if you just kind of let it rip. And I don't know how much thought, I know obviously put a lot of thought in your songs, but I like things like, yeah, people don't that certain things, certain elements having a little bit of a extra time frame and no actual strict deadline looming like off like usual probably
Yeah.
helps. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's other songs that were written. Now it's coming back to me. There were full songs written. We never used them, but the same amount of time was spent on them. So it wasn't as if we were like, oh man, we're in the studio in a week and we only have 8 songs. That's happened in the past. That has actually happened, where we're like, the studio's booked, we have 8 songs. What the hell are we gonna do? And so, usually bands pad it with a cover, but we don't do covers on our albums. So
I know that's a Danko thing. And you're good at covers. Actually, a lot of bands can do a rote cover, but you always find a way to do one and make it your own when you do them. So that's pretty cool. It's true. Your albums don't have any cover. There's no filler, man. It's all killer.
yeah, there's only one we did, but it never made the album. But we recorded it during the album session. And yeah, it was like Elvis Costello.
Hmm.
What's that? What the hell is the song? I can't even remember. It's one of his most famous songs. Uh, and I don't think we did a great version of it either. I think it was like so by the book that it was kind of like, you should listen to the Elvis version, really.
Right on. I get you. I get you. And Elvis is a great artist to be inspired by.
Oh yeah,
Um,
this year's model. What's the single off that? We did that.
right. It's gonna
Whatever
escape
that.
me now too. It's gonna bog
I
me
know
out.
the album. I don't know the song.
I didn't have my
And we
coffee
just,
yet.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I thought, because Elvis Costello is such a great singer songwriter. I thought, wow, we could take any of his songs, and such a great person to cover. But then it's like, wow, he kind of perfects it already, So
It's true. Out of curiosity, I wanted to ask about Sonic Union, because it's kind of like, how did you get back under that banner where you started, kind of almost? I think that's a really an interesting thing I wanted to ask you.
yeah. So are you in Canada or America?
No, I'm in North America, but I'm in California. But
Oh,
I
okay.
followed that label forever back in the day, and I remember that's kind of where you guys got your start a little bit.
Yeah, so yeah, things didn't end very well with them back in like 97, 98. They put out our first EP,
Mm.
and that was it. We just after 97, 98, 98, I believe, or nine, yeah, we didn't things didn't end very well. They were young, we were young, and we didn't have our, you know, I don't know. I think both sides were at fault. I'm not going to take all the blame. And, so anyways, 3 years ago, they're based out of Hamilton, Ontario, which is an hour from Toronto. And we played a show in Hamilton. It was a big show in the stadium, opening for Billy Talent at the football stadium there, Tiger Cat Stadium. And they were putting on the show because they've also kind of parlayed into being promoters, local promoters in Hamilton. So they put on a lot of rock shows and stuff, and they were putting on the show. And I hadn't seen them for a lot of years, and we just caught up, and it's all water under the bridge. And we were just hanging out and joking and laughing and teasing each other. And then found out we actually really like each other. So after that, we just kind of realized, we're the only ones left. They're the only label left standing. We're the only band left standing in their roster that originally when we were on it. So it made sense for us to hook up again. And ever since then, for this album, we've been working with them, and they've got their shit together now, and we've got our shit together now. Everyone's pro, everyone's on the ball. Everyone's professional and respectful, and there's no stupid young ego trips that are happening. And we know the bigger game, the bigger picture now, and we all respect each other, which is, I think, the most important thing. And that is making for quite an easy relationship compared to how it was before. It was so easy. It's so easy now. And I'm really proud to be on their label again. And it feels great to return after X amount of years in our 25th year. I think they celebrated their 25th year, I think 2 years ago. So they're a little ahead of us in the game, but like I said, it seems like we're the only two left standing from that whole time.
Mm.
Bands have broken up, people have left the label, gone on to start their own careers and stuff. So yeah, it's great. Tim and Mark are the ones who started. It's actually Sonic Onion. I know
Oh, sorry.
you would think Union. I mean,
Yeah,
I always
see,
thought
I
it
always
was
thought it was
Union.
Union.
Same here, Sonic Onion. But then
Yeah,
when you look at the logo, it's supposed to be an onion.
Onion.
So
Damn it.
yeah, so I'm sure they get that all the time.
Yeah.
But Tim and Mark are the ones who started it. They're still
Yes.
there.
Yeah,
JC and I were still there. So it's a great. I feel it's like a great return. It feels so great.
that's great, man, and rare in this business because
Yeah,
I like to say that it's the music business, not the music friendship. Unfortunately.
it's true, and it's so cutthroat and so fickle, and the turnover rate on the music biz is so high,
Mm.
because people have these great big dreams of oh, I'm gonna be in the music. That's so cool, and then they walk in it and they go, this is filled with the most terrible people one can find in their city, and
Right.
it's in every city you go to. So the fact that we're still in it is, whether people realize it or not, is quite an accomplishment considering how many rats and snakes get attracted to this industry.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. For sure, man, for sure. Just out of curiosity, when are you, obviously just to step back for 1 second, you're as a person that yells at people with a guitar on in usually big and small rooms and venues around the world. When do you think you guys are going to feel comfortable to get back out there on the road like you used to?
Well, we just did 3 shows this summer. We did one actually last Sunday, which is now what, 9 days ago, 8 days ago. Yeah, in Edmonton, and it was outdoors, and they had tables for everyone to buy, and there's 5 per table, and it's stretched out over a football field. And then we played in Victoriaville in Quebec, outdoors, and then we played the Calgary Stampede in July. And it's a return, but all of them were kind of either outside or semi-outside in a tent or whatever. But live indoor club shows, we have shows booked for December in Ontario. We're doing 6 in Ontario, our province in Ontario, and we might do some in November in other places, but only in Canada for now. And then we've announced a European tour for 2022, April to June. We're doing, oh God, 5-6 weeks within that time frame of European clubs, indoor clubs. And what are we supposed to do? I mean, we are only following what health experts tell us we can or can't do, politicians can or can't do. So we can't be unprepared, because let's say, I don't know, everything turns out roses in March and we have nothing booked for April. Everything's open, everything's back to normal. And then, oh my God, we have to wait now another 9 months to play. Like, we should have booked those dates 9-10 months ago. So that's what we've done. And if we cancel it, at least this time, rather than the past, everyone will know why. We've canceled 5-6 tours already
Mm.
during the pandemic, and only because it was out of our hands. And so we're, kind of hedging our bets and putting our ducks in a row and hoping that things turn out better than worse. That's all we can do at this point.
Right on, right on. I hope so, man. We need it back. And just saw some live music this weekend outdoors in a safe environment. And I was still anxious about the crowds, but generally
Yeah.
everybody there was vaxxed and it was
Okay.
beautifully done. out here in Northern California. And as you can hear, I had a good time. But yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking, just all the people. But I knew everybody was vaxxed, and I felt a lot better about it. And again, it's not your freedoms, everybody. It's about taking care of each other and trying to get over this as the human race, not class thing,
Yeah,
not a political thing.
it's
It really isn't.
freedom is what we all want, and I
Yeah,
think we got to get over the pandemic to be free, like really free, you know.
right
And
on.
these club shows we have booked in December, you have to be fully vaxxed to get in.
Yeah,
So that'll help, you know, like you're saying, calm the anxiety down. um yeah, but that whole freedom thing is, it really bugs me because we all want freedom, man. Like, what? So I'm against freedom, like, as I'm not a dictator, I'm not a
no,
king. I too would like freedom, but I don't want to have to go to a grocery store scared out of my wits to buy
yeah,
food because some guy's coughing in the aisle. And that's happened, you know. So
yeah,
you know, like I was listening to a podcast with an epidemiologist a few months ago, and he said in Toronto, he's based out of Toronto, he said, we can get, now this is before the Delta variant came to North American shores, we can get over this pandemic if we do a hard, painful 2 week lockdown, but no one will ever go for it.
yeah.
So that is the, I mean, we actually have the means. He goes, it's going to be painful. It would be hard and painful for everyone. 2 weeks, we would get over it. And, you know, no one's going to go for it, man.
Yeah, I thought we should have had like a 2 or 3 month lockdown in North America
Yeah,
last
same
year
here. Yeah, same
From
here.
April to June, and I think we would have gotten rid of a lot. Like, not maybe not got rid because you know, viruses, the nature of viruses, they mutate, they get resistant. But like, I think we would have did. I'm not a scientist, but I think we would have did a lot better
Yeah,
collectively had
at
we done
least
that.
like buy some time for everybody, like, or buy time to for the vaccines to take a, I don't know, like, it just
Yeah,
didn't seem like so many deaths and sicknesses were, you know, could have been avoided. And
avoidable,
that is the tragic thing about this.
brutal, totally brutal. On a
Like, look at
positive,
Eric Singer. I mean,
oh,
not
so
Eric
sad.
Singer, Eric Wagner
Yeah, right now,
from
yeah.
Trouble. I mean, that is brutal.
Yeah, terrible. A lot of people are passing away. It's really sucks. And you know, that's the number one thing. A lot of this could have been people needlessly passed away, which sucks, and lost people and everything. But on a positive note, as we wind this down, and I want to give you back your day, I just have a couple more for you. I always am fascinated by your band. You are so hardworking. And I always wanted to ask you about time management because you seem like you're constantly hustling and grinding. And I wanted to know how you kind of manage to do everything.
Actually, I mean, I've had to cancel stuff because I don't have any time. I paused both my podcasts. Now it's coming up to like 10 months
Mm,
that I haven't done an episode, and I'm trying to get it back on its feet in October, and hopefully not have to go into November. That's because I just don't have time. I mean, personal personally speaking, my, you know, outside of the band, my time has actually been taken up 24 hours a day. So once I figure that kind of stuff out, I will eventually get back to normal and try to do things. Even doing these interviews for the new album, I don't do them all day long anymore. I used to. I could only do a couple hours a day and only a few days a week. So, you know, I don't have the time management, you know. There's nothing like that right now for me.
time is the one resource we cannot make any more of, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
I do love your podcast. I don't look at a lot of other interviewers, but actually, as an artist, I love your interviews, and you do get to uncover things that I think journos don't get to ask and don't have that agency and wherewithal to ask because you're also an artist. So I do hope you get it back because I have enjoyed your podcast
Oh,
series.
thanks, man.
For
I
you
only,
were one of the first actually
yeah,
podcasters.
so it's like 11 years ago I started, and of course I took a 10, it's been a on pause, but still, yeah, 11 years ago I started, and I really don't, you know, there's been other podcasts that have come after me that have, you know, shoot it up where I don't care. I just do it. Another thing is I do the podcast, wow, like so I can kill time on tour. I'm not on tour. So it's like at first I was doing them weekly during the pandemic just so I could like talk to have an excuse to talk to other people in bands so I don't feel so alone in all this. And then then I took a break for the holidays in December, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do it again. It was kind of like you're going, going, going. And then when it stopped, I just couldn't get back up on the horse. So yeah, it's tough.
Understandable. Well, I hope you get to, because I have enjoyed them. Just for a last question, man, I always love to end these with a little bit of a wild card question. And so, if you could go back 25 years of Danko Jones, almost 20 years of full length albums, what piece of advice would you give younger you?
I don't know. I would say, like, don't, take some time to write the songs, and clear out the schedule. Don't do tours. Like I said before, there's been older albums where we only had 8 songs going into the studio. We weren't prepared, and that was only because we sandwiched studio time between tours, and so that was a folly. And it created for a very tense and hectic studio environment. Luckily, we were able to yielded some good albums. Like, I couldn't believe it when we were done. Like, oh, this doesn't sound as crappy as I thought it was going to sound. But that's what I'd say, because when we started to clear the schedule, and that happened in, like, with Fire Music, and we're just going to work on this album and we're not going to do anything else. It yielded like our best. I think when we turned a corner on Fire Music, and once we started doing Fire Music onward, I feel is the real band. It's where we want it. I've always wanted this band to go. There were some highlight spots like Born Lion, We Sweat Blood were great. But really, Fire Music was the first album we ever put out where I was not worried what anybody thought. I didn't care because I knew it was good. And it happened like that, successively with Wildcat or Rock Supreme and now Power Trio. I'm not worried. Whereas when we would put albums out like Never Too Loud or Rock and Roll is Black and Blue, I'd be basically, and even Below the Belt, even though I thought that was a good album, I was so nervous as to what people would think, and, oh, is this going to be the album that sinks our band and keeps us from touring properly? And so when we gave ourselves time, that's what I would say.
Nice work. Forever Humble and Grinding, Danko Jones Power Trio is out now on Sonic Onion Records.
Yeah.
And as
Yeah.
always, man, it's just been
you could say Union, man. I don't care. They're just, screw them for screwing with us.
difficult font. Damn you. Anyway, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. And again, I just deeply appreciate you and what you guys have done as a band. Thank you for making the music, and keep your head up, and we'll get it back, I hope, as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah,
Thank
you too, man. Keep safe out there, and we'll rock together soon.